Eventually, when you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
Daughter said that he used to take showers with her. Pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro. Hey, they hired him to judge it, and guess what?
Hey.
Did you see the diary?
But Trump is not a pedophile judging pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro. Hey, they hired him to judge it, and guess what?
One of the perks of a cross-country trip is stopping for a meal and meeting the friendly folks who make up the heart and soul of our country. Hello, we're from the Northeast. Okay, then. We'll do 55 pancakes to go.
Trump! 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 Trump!
All right, people. Welcome to the show. Yeah, this is I just decided to do this one. This just compelled me to do this show because I was just utterly just disgusted and just upset. You know, I know some of your brothers be like saying, leave Brandon alone. He's already a coon. He's already picked his side. He's bent over, ass cheeks, getting ready for Donald Trump to have his way with him. Yes, but with that said, I still feel I need to push back, right, every now and again with the blatant lies, right, as far as things that he's saying, the things that he is telling. So as you see the title, it says Pan-Koonism strikes snacks and blacks, shames black woman attacked by MAGA. So this is all talking about, so what's going on there in Mississippi with the Mississippi protests. I'm trying to do this, real quick. Don't expect anyone to be around. It is late Sunday, but I just want to get this out there. So if anyone knew what was going on, there was a plus size woman in Mississippi, right, that was, protesting Palestine, what have you, right? And you had a bunch of this is in Mississippi now, a bunch of white racist men out there, right, making monkey noises, being very racist towards her, right? So Pan-Koonism, right, strikes blacks. He is gonna side with them. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm not. He did not chastise those white men attacking that black woman at all. But he's supposed to be a Pan-African, right? He's supposed to be a Pan-African, but he's enabling racist white men to attack a black woman, and he's making it the black woman's fault, right? This is your typical characteristics of a coon, They want to shade it with accountability. They want to mask it with, well, I'm just trying to help you out and give you constructive criticism. When anyone with two brain cells that rub together knows that he is just cooning. So let's just get into it. So I just want to give you guys a backdrop in case you guys don't know what's going on with that. You know what's going on as far as, what's going on lately there in Mississippi before we get into it. So I'm going to let you know what's going on in Mississippi, the history of what's going on in Mississippi for, since freaking slavery. I'm letting you know what's going on. So I'm going to share a couple articles here. Hold on a second. I'm going to share a couple articles here to give you full context of what's going on historically in Mississippi and why these white men, these white racist MAGA men, feel perfectly emboldened to say the things that they say and do the things that they do. But first, I'm going to show you guys what actually happened. Then we can go to Pan-Koonism's take on what actually happened. So people pay attention to the Neanderthal on the right of your screen, right, of what's going on. So it says counter protester appears to racially provoke U.S. pro-Palestine rally video. This is The Guardian. This is all over the place. This is not being reported at some lonely publication or some just internet, media that no one knows about. This is nationwide publicized. So you could see how I'm going to show you how Brandon went out of his way to mask the obvious racism in this exchange. See the Neanderthal in the blue shirt? And they're all the cops. You can see all the cops is attacking her, right? I wouldn't say they're really protecting her. She is, I would say, I don't want to use the word antagonize. Her very being, her very position is antagonistic to these white Neanderthals, cave dwellers, right? So let's do it again. Let's roll it back a little bit because I'm going to keep playing it for you guys so you can see the whole thing from beginning.
What's up?
So you could clearly hear them making monkey noises and chanting. Now, regardless of how you feel about, hey, should you be fighting for Palestine or should you be doing that? That's a whole different show. I don't mind talking about it, but I'm just talking about Black people being attacked. She's doing something noble. I hope she also has very concerned what's going on in the Congo as well. But like I said, I don't want to go off on something else, right? Whether if you agree or disagree with what a Black person is doing, right? If a Black person is not harming anyone or promoting violence or the harm of other people, you as a Black person, especially as a Black man, should defend, right? Speak out against anyone that will attack a Black woman physically, mentally, or verbally. But this is not what Pan-Koonism is doing, right? And he wants to call himself a Pan-African. I'm pretty sure all the people that listen for the most part is pretty much just hate watching, because so you have people like Afro Think Tank, Bakari, Brother Bakari, I mentioned Neferkari Dessalines. You have a lot of pro Pan-African people that do not mess with them anymore because he's not a Pan-Africanist. So let's look at this video again. There goes the Neanderthal. You guys know if you shave a monkey, it looks like them. If you shave a monkey, all the hair off a monkey, it has what we would consider this day and age white skin. So I find it very interesting that they do this. But again, y'all, this is Mississippi, one of the racist states next to Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana. Like, I mean, look at when Martin Luther King, when he's doing his poor people's campaign, and like what was the worst cities for him to go into? Mississippi and Georgia were the top worst cities.
What's up?
Make a more monkey chance. All right. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened on that campus on the ground. That's what happened. Right. That's what happened. Right. I'll give you a little bit more information real quick to what's going on there, so we can have a clear, total understanding of what happened there, right? So this is Yahoo News, right? So Trump, because Trump is not racist, just not racist, right? Trump on Truth Social, right? He posted all this. So here in the Independent, it says Trump and Republicans lined up to praise frat boys as they wade into campus Gaza protests, right? So we read this article. I'm trying to get to the meat of it. So you have the senator, proud of these NC students, right on, right? And he had to backtrack his statement because a lot of people was giving him backlash on it, but that's his Twitter. So you guys can look at that and see if I'm lying or not or whatever, right? Again, I don't want to go too much into it, but it says on Newmax, a spokesperson for Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, called protesters anti-Semitic, anti-American, and anti-Western overall, whatever. Because remember, we all know Putin and Trump, they are in cahoots. So that's why the Republicans don't want to give any aid to Ukraine, and they want to make all these false narratives. Oh, let's take care of the border first, right? But they don't have any problem with them giving Joe Biden giving money to Netanyahu. You don't hear Republicans saying, why are we giving money to Israel? Why are we giving money to Israel? They have no problem with us giving money to Israel, but they have a problem with us giving money to Ukraine. So obviously they're full of shit when it comes to that, right? So check this article out, check it out. They also talk about her. They were making monkey noises, and they were just racial, like right here it says the video cuts out just before one of the counter protesters was seen appearing to hoot like a monkey and make mocking gestures towards a black woman filming the protest, echoing long-standing racist tropes, right? So there's no guess. Anyone that tried to spin this different or tells a different story is just being dishonest, is just being racist, and they're just a white supremacist or a tool of white supremacy. So since we're talking about college campuses, where is this one? Here's another one of a Zionist Jew being racist towards Palestinians, calling them niggers. So even I want to do a show about it for a while because I don't want to concentrate too much on Israel. But once you dive into what's going on in Israel and you see the real anti-Semitic tropes, because these are white people. The real Semites are the Palestinians. The Jews are, I don't know why people call them anti-Semitic. They have a Semitic religion. They are not Semitic themselves, right? That's just a fact. You give them a DNA test, they're from the Caucasus Mountains. They're European, right? But I do understand how some black people be drawn into it. Like there's some Israeli musician or whatever, and he was like doing a show for the troops and everything. I should have lined it up here, but I'll probably do it another time. But you guys can look out for yourself. He's entertaining the troops one night. He's this famous Israeli singer, and he's saying, "Fuck Gaza, fuck you Gaza, you black whore, fuck you Gaza." Da, da. Now, us as Americans, black Americans, and people in the diaspora and in Africa all over the world, we're like, wait, they're not black, but the racist Zionists see them as black, right? So I'm saying this to say to set this video up.
I'm a love now, you. Shut up! I'm never gonna forget you. You're dead.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Well, let's have some commentary with this. Here it is.
Well, you saw that. Now you see me, so you probably already got a pretty good idea of how this is going to go. University of Texas at Austin is where this happened. And I'm just going to read the firsthand account that one of the victims gave me. They said that their friend and they were stepping foot on campus for her graduation pictures at 6 p.m. on Sunday, April 28th. As we were walking, a man sitting on a bench outside of the Harry Ransom Center decided to make a rude and disturbing comment, specifically saying, "Learn how to walk, R-word." We then told the man to mind his business since the comments were unprovoked and nothing had been said to him prior. He then continued to say statements such as, "God doesn't love you," and that we're going to hell. As we continued to yell at the man, "Get off the campus," he stated, "This is my campus, N-word," toward me. And right about then is when someone who was passing by pulled out their phone and started recording, and that's where the video comes from. And I'll just let that play out from here.
Legally take pictures of strangers between that's a crime. You. I'm a alumni. You. Shut up. I'm never gonna forget you.
All right, there's more video. He says,
yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys that, right? So I do understand how some black people want to like, wow, okay, they're not black, but then you have these white people, aka Jews, that are using all these racist tropes, calling black people niggers, calling black people monkeys. So I kind of understand how it's like, well, it's not my fight directly, but you are using words to dehumanize us, to dehumanize other people. So by proxy, so by default, it becomes somewhat of our fight, right? It becomes somewhat of our fight, you know, as far as like domestically. So when I see black people siding with Palestine, and I have from a human perspective, I understand and I say it's wrong, right? What the Zionist Israelis are doing is wrong, right? From an African perspective, if they both blow each other the fuck up, I don't care because it's not their land anyway, right? You know, it was done by a bunch of Asiatics, a bunch of Arabs, and so I don't care. But from a human perspective, yes, you will have to side with the Palestinians. So I'm just letting you, I showed you guys that to let you guys know what is the temperature of Mississippi and what is the nationwide temperature of what's going on in on campuses, and when it comes to the to the protests. One other thing I also want to share again about Mississippi, even though this is nationwide, but even Mississippi knows right here, says Mississippi among worst in racial health disparities. A new report finds, right? This is November in 2021, right? This is all over the United States, right? But it's more like this in southern Midwestern countries and things of that nature. So this is what's going on in Mississippi that they pretty much get away with, right? So I want to show you guys that. One other thing before we get into Brandon's perspective of what's going on in Mississippi, you have this that like a couple weeks ago. And if you guys caught my show the last time, I spoke about it. So right here they have, this has been going on for about 30 years. About there's a Memorial Confederate Day in Mississippi that has never been struck down, right? Confederate Memorial Day, Confederate Day in Mississippi.
Event in Mississippi. And it is the declaration, the statutory proclamation. I don't think the proclamation is statutory, but the holiday, the state holiday is. And that is Confederate Heritage Month. And you might not be surprised to look at this picture of current governor of Mississippi, Tate Reeves, standing in front of a massive flag of a traitor prospective nation. Heritage Month. I'm going to play a brief clip from CNN, kind of talking about this, announcing this with the host, Victor Blackwell. I'm a fan. I like Victor Blackwell. He does a good job of kind of breaking this down. And then I'm gonna. He doesn't get into the details of this, but I want to read from what this heritage is. I'm going to read from the Declaration of Immediate Causes which induce and justify the secession of the state of Mississippi from the federal union. Celebrate Confederate heritage. This is why they fought the war. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. Its labor supplies the product which constitutes by far the largest and most important portions of commerce of the earth. These products are peculiar to the climate verging on the tropical regions, and by an imperious law of nature, none but the black race can bear exposure to the tropical sun. They open with that. Then it goes through, and they're going to give reasons. It says that we do not overstate the dangers to our institution. A reference to a few facts will sufficiently prove. And then there's this list, and this is not exhaustive. This isn't all of them. I'm only going to read the ones. It is such a fool's errand. The hostility to this institution, they're talking about slavery, this institution, the hostility to slavery commenced before the adoption of the Constitution and was manifested in the well-known Ordinance of 1787 in regard to the Northwestern Territory. The hostility to slavery, has grown until it denies the right of property in slaves and refuses protection to that right on the high seas, in the territories, and wherever the government of the United States had jurisdiction. It's about slavery. The hostility to slavery that now forces them to secede from the Union, refuses the admission of new slave states into the Union, and seeks to extinguish it by...
Okay, you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just trying to give you the concrete facts. If you want to see the rest of it, this is it right here. This is Jesse Dollamore. Like this guy gets threats from MAGA, yo. Like yo, this guy got threat from a MAGA dude saying that because his wife has a YouTube channel saying that he's gonna with a child in the background saying that he's gonna kill and rape his wife with the kid in the background, right? But it's MAGA. What you want to do? You got Brandon Pedo Bucci Bear saying it's okay for Donald Trump to have sex with his daughter and walk in on naked 12, 13-year-old girls. So this is what we're dealing with right now in this day and age, y'all. So that is what we're dealing with. Just to get you like, what is Mississippi? What is the past and the current condition of Mississippi is here. And I'm just showing you guys all this. So when we go to Brandon's Pan-Koonism critique of the actual situation, we could see how dishonest he's being, right? Here's a New York Times article. Again, just real quick, Mississippi, a profile of the nation's most segregated state. Through most of the state's history, the white supremacists have been able to control government at the local and state levels, right? So again, this is just plain old history. You know anything about American history, civil rights history, anything like that? This is just plain history, right? So that's an article you guys can check out. It's a bit of an interesting read, right? So what we're gonna do now, we are gonna, unfortunately, I hope you guys really appreciate this. It just hurt my soul. It just hurt my Black African soul to listen to this poor excuse of a man, this coon ass Donald Trump loving, just like cockhold for Donald Trump. It's just sad. So I hope you guys really appreciate that. I just got the major stuff. I went through the major stuff to be fair to what he's saying, so you can see what I'm saying. So I hope you guys appreciate me, doing this. So I'm gonna share it right now and pretty much just comment through the Pan-Koonism.
It's absolute bull crap. Let me just start off with that. But I wanted to give everybody an idea of what's out here when it comes to the reasons why Black women do this, why Black women divest and all this type of stuff. This is what the narrative is. This is the assigned or prescribed narrative. Oh, Black women are divesting because Black men have too much trauma, and Black women this and Black women that. This is a lie. This is 100% bullcrap.
What does that has nothing to do with what's going on? He's talking about divestment. The woman didn't say anything about being with the man or a white man. You guys saw the video. Like, what is he talking about? He has to play this false narrative and only works for very ignorant, stupid people, which is his base that supports him.
Crap. Divestors are people who believe that they will be able to gain more by dating someone who is from another race. That's what divest. That Black woman decides to confront these dudes. Now, I would be absolutely baffled or hard up to find a reason why a Black woman needs to be defending Palestine, right? But as is the case with Black women so often, they'll find a
I gave you guys reasons. Mark Hill gave him reasons that where he obviously fucking failed, right? He's cosplaying as a Pan-African. He's not a real Pan-African. He's a Pan-Republican, a Pan-Coonarian, as our brother Afro Think Tank would say. And he's showing his cards. Mark Hill said, "Are there Black people in Palestine?" Yes. Okay, so you're a Pan-African. So what's wrong with me? Protesting for Palestine, right? Then you have the other side of what I'm saying. If I'm on campus on Texas, right? If I'm on campus in Mississippi, and they calling Palestinians niggers, right? See, he's a coon, so it doesn't matter to him because he know he's nothing but a nigger, right? But to other black, self-respecting black people that hold themselves and their family and and have self-esteem and worth, that would bother them. So now the white supremacists have joined these two people, and they look at these two people as the same people. I would see it as an opportunity, right? Because again, I have no real dog in this fight, but from a humane perspective, I would see it as an opportunity for Palestinians and other so-called Arabs, like, hey, look, you see how the white supremacists doing things to you in your country, right? They're also doing to us here in America. They're also doing us here in Africa, and your Arab brothers is also doing it to us in North African countries. I see that as an opportunity, but that's a different show. That's neither here or there. And I gave it a reason why, but he's a coon, so he's not going to see it that way. And we all know, by all the things that I just gave you guys, he's deliberately ignoring the racial component, and he's just demonizing the black woman. Because again, I told you guys, he was raised by his own admission. I'm not defaming the guy or anything like that. By his own his mission, his mother's a welfare queen. His mother got with his father, which is some jail nigga, some that's up to no good. His father has been locked up all his life. His father didn't raise him, so he has all this resentment for his mother and his auntie and his sisters. So again, if you've been raised by a bunch of niggas, you're gonna produce a nigga, right? So if you raise seeing white people saying bad things about black people, you're gonna believe it because that's your reality. His problem is that is not the reality for black people, but instead of getting therapy and getting a hug, he's gonna just lash out on black people and wish their very demise when white racists is confronting them.
The reason to defend anything as long as it's not a black man. And this woman found a reason to go confront these white guys about Palestine. You don't see any white women confronting these dudes. You don't see any Asian women confronting these dudes, but you do see the black woman confronting them. And my God, we just got to.
So people like Fannie Lou Hamer, Shirley Chisholm, and all our black heroines that stood there and led protests and talk against white supremacists, they're no good. They're no good. See, he as a Republican and a white conservative, right? Because he's a conservative. What he wants to conserve, the white ideology of America. America was made for straight white men, as the men ahead of his household and his woman has no say. She just follows the man. That is a very Judeo-Christian American ideology, right? So he is invested in white conservatism. So he has to tear the woman down. The woman cannot take a lead. A woman cannot show strength, right? Which shows a lot of weakness on his part.
Stop this. She got a rude awakening. Woo!
So we saw the monkey guy, right? He didn't say nothing. He's sipping on his Kool-Aid, right? Not saying nothing, right? He's sipping on his Bucci juice and he's not saying nothing. We clearly saw the Neanderthal right there in the blue, howling like a monkey and jumping around like a monkey. He didn't say anything. That didn't shock him, right? Because his Willie Lynch chip, his coon chip, is working at full capacity. And I hear the black chick. It sounds like her, like she's screaming and yelling, but is one versus 200-300 people.
baby, you huge. I just want to leave the camera on her. I want you guys to see the sheer gelatinous.
And this is where he ignores the monkey chants, a bunch of white men, you know, in opposition of a black woman, right? And this is where his fake Pan-Africanism comes in, and his Pan-Koonism, his Pan-Republicanism comes in, right? So he's going to physically attack her, right? If you ask me, him and her, they're like the same stature, same build. You know, like I don't understand how you attack a woman. That's how you know this is person is very low moral character. Of a person who's he's a person of very low intellect. Instead of attacking her position, he's going to attack her physically. And that's supposed to correlate into her being a bad person, and the disposition that she's in right now makes her a bad person, right? So it's going to be disgusting, but we need to show you. I need to show you guys what type of Pan-African this guy is.
Nature of this lady, and her issue is not that these young white scholars are doing anything wrong, right?
He called them white scholars, racist white boys on campus making monkey noises. I'm pretty sure they threw a couple of N-words in there and stuff like that. He called them white scholars. These white scholars are not the problem. Pan-Koonism at its best, y'all. Pan-Koonism at its best. So already he's probably like 2 minutes in to this video, and he's calling racists fine scholars and attacking this black woman because she's a plus size black woman, instead of saying, like, I understand him say, if he just started like, well, I don't understand why a black woman is defending Palestine, and it makes no sense. How does that affect us here in the United States? And that's a fine critique. That's a fine criticism, even though Mark Lamont Hill cooked them on it. And I just showed you reasons why black people are pulled into that, because they call them Palestinians niggers. Or, you know, in Mississippi here, right? I'm pretty sure something probably happened like that here in New York. I showed the video where it's happening in Texas, right? They're pulling black people in this conversation because they call them Palestinians niggers, right? So, but he's not doing that because he's weak and unintelligent. So this is the route he has to go.
Right? The reality is black women hate America. They hate black men and they hate America. And their hatred of black men doesn't stem from their treatment at the hands of black men. Their hatred of black men.
So this is a therapy session right here. I think he's talking about his mother. You keep saying don't talk about people's mother, but again, I'm not defaming the guy. He's came on his show many a times saying how much his mother was a failure. This is why I said he needs a hug. So his reality is that these are how black women are, because he's from a failed stereotypical black family. So when he gets on these airwaves, he'll repeat the same thing that Jesse Lee Peterson would say. He'll repeat the same thing that Anton Daniels would say. He'll repeat the same thing or someone that you read something off of 4chan or Breitbart. You know, so he's saying all these racist tropes that Negroes like him would say, and white racists will say. That's the common denominator.
Stems from the fact that they hate America. They've been radicalized to hate patriarchy across the board.
Patriarchy across the board. So again, guys, we're gonna do a little self-reflecting. So you hate your mother, but you don't hate your father. Your father is locked up in jail and never raised you to be a man, right? He raised you to be a crying, whiny, little self-hateful, little fat, roly-poly troll little bitch. But you're not going to blame your father for that. You're going to blame black women for that. Like two people don't have a choice to make when it comes to making a child at all. I don't understand where he's going with this. And again, you know what?
The reason why they want to divest is because they want to be with they want to reproduce with men they believe will allow them to dominate them.
We don't know what this woman's dating criteria is. This is sad. This is a sad reach.
If you go to the hostro, go talk to any prostitute.
He said, go to the hostro. Now, again, not defaming him. He's the one that says that in his family there's a bunch of pimps and hoes and his uncles, this and people who are pimps and stuff like that, right? I can't relate to this at all because I'm a black man. I grew up in the United States with a family that didn't commit crimes, weren't pimps, don't know anything about the hostro, don't know anything like that, right? He's talking to niggas, right? He's talking to niggas because he's a nigga himself. He's a nigga himself that doesn't have a job, that doesn't have a career, and he has to come on YouTube, say all these crazy things in order to get likes and stuff like that because he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a career, he is a failure in life. His accomplishment is YouTube. Fine, let it be as it may, but keep that in mind. That incentivizes him to say a lot of crazy things. So again, he's talking about his family, about pimps. If you go to a pimp and all these hoes, and he's talking because this is his family, this is his reality. So when he says these things, he's not talking from, well, I heard, well, the word on the street is no. This is something that he's seen himself in his family.
Prostitute on any hostro in America. You know the type of men they prefer to sell their vagina to? Hispanics and whites. Why? Because they'll say, because I feel safe.
A lot of people say it's where it's just I don't know, it's a California thing. I don't know, it's the water or whatever, but like Dynasty and all these niggas, they're from California. They're just very weird, odd people.
Around white dudes and Mexicans. They feel safer around white dudes and Mexicans, but they're working for a black pimp and handing them all of their money and basically are out there on behalf of a black male. Why do they feel safer around white men and Hispanics and Asians? Not because those dudes are any less of a threat. The average black woman believes that she is tougher than a white guy, tougher than an Asian, tougher than a Mexican male. They really believe that. Put a 1 in the comments if you agree with me when I say that black women think they tougher than men of other races. Because the reason they believe that is because that is a narrative, a propaganda narrative that has been spread amongst American society for a long time.
By who? Dumbass. So your Confederates right there, which you call fine scholars, right? The descendants of slave owners and slave masters and overseers and stuff like that you call fine scholars right there. That narrative was only spread about the black woman, or was it spread about black people in general? It was spread about black people in general. We all know the studies that when that white people always look at black people as always 5 to 10 years older. We always look bigger than we actually look. This is a racial trope that has nothing to do with gender. It goes across gender. It has to do with all black people. So again, he has to be disingenuous, right? And to say these things, this is where he's trying to. I guess he was too deep in coon land, and he tried to come out and say, okay, let me be on some pro-black stuff and talk against the racists, when he did it halfway and he failed.
Even since slavery, the white man has artificially, or what would I say? He's elevated the black woman to a delusional or false position of dominance and control in an effort to imagine.
I don't remember in where it was talking about what black people were saying were 3/5 of a human being. Was that just black women, or black men had full autonomy? They had full recognition as a human being. I don't remember it saying, yeah, black women are 3/5 of a human being, but black men, okay. If that's the case, what happened to the whole Dred Scott decision? right? Why did Dred Scott didn't get any citizenship? Because he's a man, right? The white supremacists look at the black woman and black man different according to him. He's adding to these black gender wars by basically saying a bunch of lies.
Emasculate the black male and to create division in our community. There was a video by Alex Jones. This came out some years back. And Alex Jones talked about how he grew up.
This nigga listens to Alex Jones. That already tells you. Alex Jones is, I think he's a bigger grifter than Donald Trump. Alex Jones that said that the Sandy Hook shooting was a psyop, right? All the parents took him to court, and I think he had to pay. I think he had to pay like a couple $100 million to each family getting a little bit of different money, right? And Alex Jones said, "Hey, look, I'm just an act. I'm just do it for money. I just do it for money," right? He's listening to Alex Jones. That says it.
In I think East Texas, something like that. And in the video, Alex Jones talked about how when he was young, he had to pick cotton.
So this whole thing, I'm gonna skip it. I can't take it no more. This whole thing, he's not playing the video. All he's doing is demonizing her. He didn't address the guy making the monkey calls. Remember, he called them fine scholars. He called them fine scholars.
They look for, because when you look sloppy like that, you know what that means? That means you have no discipline. It also means you.
Yeah, I'm done. So I'm gonna speed it up because he really didn't play it. So I'm gonna play the parts where he actually played the video, and we're gonna see if he commented on the racism
and not feel any type of remorse. Let's break it down. Now look at the white dudes who she's talking to. Young, fit, in shape, right? Some of them look like they work out. They're just there because they love their country. Yes, I'm fat, Carmen Jones. You're right.
They are just there because they love their country so much, but I'm pretty sure their political affiliation are Republican to the point where Donald Trump bends the knee to Vladimir Putin, which is a dictator, which is invading countries, that is against NATO, right? But they love their country, right? Oh, why are you giving money to Ukraine? Don't give money to Ukraine. The border bill that we killed, that we don't want to sign, right? Oh, but we're also sending money to Israel. America's been sending money to Israel for decades. They never have a problem with it. They're not, well, why not? I mean, guys, just Google anything or do your research when it comes to these same assholes that are against spending for Ukraine. They have no problem with us continuously sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel. They have no problem with it because they want to, because they are communists. They are communists. They are communists internationally. They're international communists, but in America, they're part of a democratic process, which is not true, and I'll prove that. But I'm going to let this play.
I'm fat, Carmen. I'm gonna give you a chance to come up here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link in the comments. Only women click the link right now. I only want the females.
Okay, so right here again, he's not playing it. He's not playing it. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit more, and we're gonna see what he's gonna comment on. Let's see what he's gonna say, because again, you see here, guys, he's not really playing it at all. Well, let me get the right mark.
But that's the thing. White supremacy, I'm gonna call it, well, I'll say liberalism. Liberalism and far left radical progressivism.
How is white supremacy? How is white supremacy and racism? How is white supremacy liberalism? This guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't understand the terms that he's talking about. Liberalism and liberation are synonyms. So if you say, "Hey, I'm a liberal," I'm a liberal. I'm a person. I want to liberate people. An intelligent person will say, liberate from what and from whom, right? So in this case, the liberalism agenda would be against, according to Brandon, these Confederate racist MAGA assholes that he called fine gentlemen would be liberation from oppression and racism. So how can you be a liberal and still be down with racism? No, conservatism. This country was based upon and founded on slavery and white male dominance. So that is conservatism. You're being conservative. Only people that want to be conservative are unmoral, racist men, right? If you don't like the fact that white men need to rule and put their neck on everybody else, then you're a liberal. If you're a woman, you're a liberal. If you're black, you're a liberal. If you're Native American, if you're Asian, you're a liberal, because you don't want to have that conservative mentality when it comes socially on how you be treated and how you're viewed.
Has emboldened black women to the point of lunacy.
So again, black women should just stay in their place, get called niggas, get called monkeys. This nigga wants slavery to be back. At least Reconstruction, pre-civil rights. At least this is what he wants, where the white man was in charge. This is a fucking weak ass bitch, a weak, sad person as a man, and he needs to be ostracized from the black community.
This is absolutely, a dog ain't gonna confront 20 other dogs or 20 humans. What did she think?
Bitch, nigga, you're not confront two white men and call them out. He's not. And this is online, right? He doesn't even have the courage to do this online, right? You think if some white people would come up calling you a bunch of niggas saying, nigga, we're gonna hang you? What do you think this 4'12" dude's gonna do? He's gonna run away or kiss their ass. Say, you sure right? I ain't nothing but a nigga, and keep it moving. But then he'll be the first person to attack black people.
He thinks she was gonna gain by walking up to this crowd of white dudes. They were gonna say, "Hey, Bertha, you're right. Let me just go home. Let me play some more of this." And honestly, I think the white guys were being very respectful.
You hear that, guys? He played it again for like the third, fourth time with the Neanderthal there in the blue shirt making monkey noises, and he's saying, I think those guys were pretty much respectful. I think these guys were pretty much respectful. Is what he's telling us. Don't believe our lying eyes. Don't believe our lying ears. These guys were pretty much respectful, making monkey noises to the one black woman.
And honestly, I think the white guys were being very respectful, because I would have felt more in danger had she been confronted.
This guy's a fucking coon, man. He's worse than a coon. I think I'm making coons feel bad right now. A bunch of white men in front of you making monkey noises, calling you the N-word, and he's gonna say, I think these guys were pretty much respectful for the most part. What's wrong? They were very respectful. Yo. Like, yo. I'm gonna be nice. I was gonna say a lot of things that's bad, but I don't have to. What is known doesn't have to be really said. You know the type of person this is. Any other group of people within their society would just pretty much do away with this guy. He'll be ostracized, right? Anything that he would say about black people, the black people and the dominant society will not take him serious, because they know where he stands. They know he's a tool. He's Steven from the Django. He's Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. This is who he is.
In front of a group of black dudes. What about you, Michelle?
Definitely. At first, I don't think she should have.
Now, Michelle, again, she's Jamaican. This is the same woman that was on the post here. Let me stop sharing real quick to show you what type of yes woman she is. This is the same woman. The time when we were when Brandon was like, "Oh, pedophilia is okay for Donald Trump. Donald Trump doing pedophilia is okay." This is the same one that did no pushback. You'll hear her in the background. Hold on.
Pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro. Hey, they hired him to judge it, and guess what?
Hey.
Did you see the diary?
But Trump is not a pedophile judging real pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro.
That's the Michelle we're talking about. This is Michelle. We're talking about the morally upstanding Jamaican woman. I'm not saying all Jamaicans like that. Obviously, all Jamaican people are not a monolith, like all other people. But these are the coons, right? These are the coons, the Jamaica coons that we have that will agree with it.
Hired them to judge it. Hey, bro. Hey, they hired them to judge it, and guess what?
Hey,
right?
Hired them to judge it. Hey, bro. Hey, they hired them to judge it, and guess what?
Hey,
and if you see right there in the corner, that
hired them to judge it. Hey, bro. Hey, they hired them to judge it, and guess what?
Hey,
so this is who Michelle is, just to give you guys a background of who she is. She probably pushed back a little bit. I'll show you guys. He kind of pushed back a little bit, but these people that come on Brandon's show are fucking cowards because they feel they push back too much. He's going to start talking bad about them. He's going to kick them out. He's going to do that. These are not morally upstanding people. These are very weak-minded people. Like, I mean, you hear for yourself. It's not like she want to go in a little bit hard, but she kind of like stopped herself from saying what needed to be said.
Approach a group of men, period. No way. That's not your fight. That is not your fight.
You're a female. There's no reality in which approaching a group of males as a female is advisable. I'm telling you right now, this is America in 2024. If that was a group of black dudes, I would have been more scared for her had that been black dudes.
Again, he's been more scared for a black woman to be around black men, right? But then he's going to assume that her dating criteria is with white men, and he chastised her by making believe that she wants to be with white men. But he just admitted, like, what? By your logic, she should be with white men because you saying being around a bunch of black dudes is dangerous. So why shouldn't she go with a whole bunch with a bunch of white dudes? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Am I wrong, Michelle? Am I wrong?
I would say 50-50 because I'm sure there's somebody in there where she reminds them of their great auntie or the great mama and probably would have taken it a bit easy, but they would have still cursed her out and said some really vulgar things to her still.
But I've seen some.
And if they said, and I mean, there are a bunch of kids, I would say if they saying something vulgar, even making fun of her weight and stuff like that, it's unacceptable, but it's something that is expected for people, that age, being immature and stuff like that, right? Right? No one's going to judge you too hard on stuff like that. But when we start getting into the racist attacks and stuff like that, no, you're morally bankrupt.
Black dudes punching out white women.
So now he's concerned about black dudes punching out white women. Is there a coon handbook? Guys, always to either demonizing black people, especially black women, to being Captain Saver-Cracker when it comes to white people. Now, I'm not condoning anybody hitting anybody, no matter what race they are or whatever. But this is not the situation we're talking about. We have a bunch of of violent, racist, MAGA Confederate boys here, what Brandon calls upstanding scholars. He don't know what their GPA is, but the fact that they white and they're at a university, they must be upstanding scholars. But the black fat woman, oh, she's gross, she's this, she's all that, she's nasty, she's undisciplined, she's gross. Even though my fat ass is just as fat as her, right? It makes no sense. So far, he ignored the guy making the monkey noises, right? He's gonna play the video of the kid. It was a kid he was talking about with slammed a white lady on the floor, but he was trying to slam the floor. He was trying to throw her in the pool or whatever, and he wanted that kid, that black man, that black child, to be thrown under the bus because he threw the lady into the pool when she came to complain and make noise. This is your Pan-African people. This is your Pan-African. So I'm gonna rewind it a little bit to show you that he's not going to really address it while he plays the video. So this is what I'm showing you.
That she can talk to a whole bunch of rowdy young white men and get them in line.
Right.
But that was not the case.
And these are fucking sad excuse of a woman, Michelle. I don't know about the other woman, right? Or that's the other woman talking. You, a fellow black woman, is confronted with a whole bunch of white men making monkey noises. I bet you those cops weren't there. And fat and nasty and black as she is, them dudes would have probably killed her, raped her, and did despicable things to her. This is how this shit goes in this country, right? If this played out in one of them sundown towns or anything like that, that's what would have happened. This is Mississippi, y'all. This is the SIP, right? But they're going to be there, go on the bandwagon, and demonize this black woman that has way more courage than all three of them on this panel together.
And her not understanding the dynamics of the conflict that's involved, the real globalized dynamics of it. I think, again, she's been democratically fueled, thinking that, free Palestine is the way to go, because there's
democratically fueled. So, and this is the misnomer, right? And again, I already mentioned it. The Democrat, no matter, and this is the thing that I don't see a lot of people saying in this conflict when it comes to Palestine and Joe Biden. I'm not saying Joe Biden is complicit with the genocide that's going on in Gaza, but the thing that people don't understand that they say, and it's just being fair. No matter who was president, the American policy is to support Israel. Obama supported Israel. George Bush Jr. supported Israel. George Bush Sr. supported Israel. Ronald Reagan supported Israel. Like what are we talking about? So when she says, "Oh, it's democratic fuel" or whatever, like, no, unless you mean most of the people that would be on the left would say, well, what's going on in Palestine is bad. So you have people on the left that's obviously always more principled than a bunch of racist Republicans will say, you know what? I don't like what's going on in Gaza. I don't like what's happening. We're talking against our own party for just reasons. And when Brandon got destroyed on Mark Lamont Hill, he commended Mark Lamont Hill for, hey, look, what they're doing is fighting against Palestine and what's going on in Palestine. What you did, Mark Lamont Hill, it's a just cause or whatever. So now he's switching gears, but he's a Republican and a liar and a nigga. So what do you expect?
Their circumstances appear to be similar to us. Yes, there's aspects that are always similar to us. But again, the social political piece of that conflict does not quite apply to us as Black people. If she really understood those dynamics. And
again, internationally, right? It's an international conflict. And I told you guys domestically, it's our problem. Why? Because these Neanderthals are calling those Palestinian niggas. So it's like, yo, they calling y'all niggas. It's like, so what? So what? The Republic, the Negro MAGA Pan Republican ideology is like, well, they didn't call me nigga, so who cares? That's the only logic conclusion I could come to. It makes no sense.
And understood the dynamics of the United States and how those young men really think and feel, I don't think that
They're giving them so much credit and credence. Young men, these guys, these fellas, they're not calling them racist. They're calling them everything in the book, including the child of God. Niggas, man. Niggas.
I think that's something she should have gotten herself involved in.
Hey, like, this is what I'm saying. Black women, you think shit gonna be sweet once you knock the black men out your way. Once we get these black men out of here, we'll be able to go get the white kings.
I ain't gonna say it, y'all. You know what it is.
This is how they're looking at you. Because when they get ready to do something, and you think you're gonna try to do them like you try to do us, shout us down and wag your finger at us and send us home, this is gonna be your response. I got my eye on this dude right here with the beard, because bro looked like he came up ready to get cracking. And this is the part where I watched and I said, nah, the police did protect this chick.
See, the beard, he said he kept looking at it, and the dude in the beard, right here, you see this is the Neanderthal, the young Neanderthal in the blue shirt. That was one making the monkey noises. Brandon doesn't care about her making the monkey noises, the guy making the monkey noises. He's more concerned about direct your vision here. Look, ooh, squirrel. Direct your focus on the black guy. I mean, on the black guy, the guy with the beard that may do something. And yeah, the police was protecting her, but nothing racist has happened. So let's show it again.
Because look at the way this dude with the beard approached the situation. Bro, look, you see that? And the cop has his hands out like, whoa, back up. You know what I'm saying? Bro looked like he was ready to get cracking. They're at Ole Miss.
So that's it, guys. After that, it's all over. He goes back to her, making fun of her, and he doesn't call out the racial attacks that they were talking to her. As a matter of fact, he would have been the same lone coon ass nigga there in the crowd saying the same thing. I bet you. The type of character, type of person, the type of weak individual that he is, he'd been right with the white boys. He'd be there with Jeremy and Josh and Tyler saying, yeah, she's a fat bitch. Yeah, because he wants to be one of the good niggas, right? He wants to be one of the good niggas, right? So he didn't say anything, guys. He didn't say anything. It was just what he was doing was just freaking disgusting. Was just freaking disgusting. He didn't no pushback whatsoever. Let me play the video one more time for you so you guys could see it. Just one more quick time so you can see what happened and what he ignored. This is what Brandon called fine scholars. That's what he called fine scholars. Right? So about to bring it to, I forgot to play something. So at the end, oh man, at the end, I mean, I got so nauseous. I pretty much just I pretty much just canceled that part before I was able to get to it. But so I came on the video like later because I'm not subscribed to him, but I was just surfing YouTube and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, let me see what type of coonery he's up with today. So I came at the end. I came at the end of this. I didn't know what was going on the whole time. I had no idea. So right here, you're gonna see where I came at the end. And again, I went out on a limb and I just saw what the topic was. And I was like, yo, I bet this. I said, I bet your coon ass was probably taking the side of all those white supremacist white boys, right? That's what I just said. So hold on, let me show you. Da, da, da. Yeah, right here. Let me just show you. You got America's first coonman. He's talking to. He's always there to dog pile on black people and uphold white supremacy. That's his job. It's the same suspects. It's the same suspects.
So right. Exactly to what you talking about, Zach. I didn't see it, but I see somebody saying respect to their white brother. Oh, okay. Agreed. Good people. Hey, Zach is cool, man. The bro is a good guy. He's a good brother, man. But he's a good Caucasian ally. Don't
Called the white man a good brother. Enough said. Not saying you can't be, white people can't be allies and call him your brother. I know a lot of white people and a lot of white men. I was like, nah, I'll call that dude my brother because, you know what I'm saying, he's been vetted, he's been tested to prove he put his life on the line, his reputation on the line. But this is Pan-Koonism world, so I doubt that. So I'm probably sure he wasn't even vetted because he gravitated to this nonsense.
I'm using revolutionary language right there. But yeah, that's about all I got for y'all. It's been 3 hours. It's been a while since I did a 3-hour stream, but I'm not gonna lie. If y'all contribute, I don't mind sitting here for 3 hours.
Exactly. If people contribute, he don't mind being here for 3 hours because he's a broke ass bum bitch. He doesn't have a career. YouTube is his success story. He has reached the mountaintop. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, I got YouTube and I could grift off a Pan-African at last. Right? This is what his job. If I stay here, you know, I did a 4-hour show last night for free because I love what I do and I feel this is informative and we need to know how to navigate in this world and just to give you guys good conversation for free. He wants to charge you for his Pan-Koonism Strikes Snacks and Blacks podcast for what? So to give you like hopefully he'll take that money and get some therapy. So again, he's grifting off of Pan-Africanism.
Chopping it up with y'all about whatever. Here comes Kofi. Did you hear about your boy Mark Lamont Hill getting canceled?
So right here, I said Coon Squad must have blamed the Lizzo girl, right? And again, I didn't see this is at the end, y'all. This is at the end. You can see it. This is at the end. I just took a very educated guess and also know because I know what his MO is to demonize black people, even in the face of white supremacy. Put it like this: if I found out, right? Should I be a good person to say ancestors forbid? If ancestors will say he'll get what's coming to him, and he was up in front of a bunch of white supremacists, and they were calling him the N-word and saying he's a monkey, and it looked like his life and his may be threatened. I'm supposed to put away my personal feelings that I have against him and defend him as a black man and condemn those white supremacists. That is the that is at least we could do as black people, is have each other's back. If you're being attacked as a black person, I'm being attacked. Those same people would attack me. I have enough wisdom and knowledge to know that if I was in that situation, the same thing would happen to me, right? I don't have to like Brandon in that situation. You don't have to like that girl in that college campus. She could probably be a Republican for all I know. She could probably do things that I do not like, but that's not what it's about. It's about her getting attacked as a black person. She get attacked, we get attacked. I'm getting attacked, right? But he doesn't see it like that because, you know, I need super chats and I need donations, right? He's a whole ass nigga. His uncle should probably put his Bucci ass on the stroll and get some stuff into a white Republican neighborhood, and I'm pretty sure he'll be busting his little troll hobbit ass open. Like, this is despicable. So anyway, that's what I said. Yeah, so must have blamed Lizzo girl, but we're gonna see what he says.
Cancel Kofi, your boyfriend. Hey, by the way, guys,
he's saying my boyfriend. Okay, Mark Lamar Hill, because he's just mad because Mark Lamar Hill destroyed him.
I bought Mark Lamont Hill's book. They had it on for 75 cents on sale at a local thrift store here in my neighborhood, and so I felt like I'd help a brother out since he just got he got demoted. He said he didn't get fired, but at the minimum he got demoted because they canceled his show. It's no coincidence that nobody wants to watch Mark Lamont Hill on TV. The guy's intellectually dishonest.
He's so intellectually dishonest that the internet said that you fucking lost. That wasn't even a debate. That was just you looking like a total fool as you normally look, but it's on for all to see because you're not in your MAGA Pan-Koon echo chamber. That's what happened to you.
Nobody wants to watch someone like that. Here's his book. And as you saw it, it's about Palestine. He told me when I said, why you don't say nothing about black folks, right? He says, have you read my books? So I took him up on that. I said, let me go read one of his books.
Again, being disingenuous. He's saying that all he does is talk about Palestine, LGBTQ, this, that, extreme liberal ideology. And Mark Lamar Hill just say, have you read any of my books? He said no. And Mark Lamar Hill says, I have programs for black people. I speak at black colleges. I have books talk about black issues and how to repair black issues that we have politically. Did you read any of those books? No, I haven't. What the fuck are you talking about? So of course Martin Hill is like, so maybe you don't know me enough to critique me, which he was absolutely right. And that's why Brandon looked like a stupid, sad pedo Bucci bear.
So underneath the underneath the pile of shoes in a thrift store, I found this book. And it's all about Palestine. The limits of progressive politics. And basically, we need to treat the LGBT. We need to use the same craziness that we use to support and defend the LGBTQ.
And that's supposed to shame people. So I would like to ask bitch ass niggas like him this. So they're demonizing the LGBTQ people because again, we all have gay people in our family, right? He even admitted that his nephew or whatever is gay. So I wonder if he mistreats that child because his child is gay. So his nephew is gay. I wonder if he do that because what to the extent that he's talking about this stuff. It's just funny, and this is coming from a man who has no problem with Matt Gaetz having sex with underage women, with Brett Kavanaugh as a rapist, right? Has no problem with Trump walking in on 16-year-old girls. Has no problem with Trump saying you want to have sex with his daughter. He has no problem with that. But the LGBTQ community, right? Maybe this is the plus part, where there's the pedophile part. He has no problem with pedophilia, but he has a problem with LGBTQ. I don't know. The Republican mind is a strange thing.
We need to use that same ignorance to defend and support Palestine. Mike, grab me that red book right there. On top of that shelf. See that red book? Listen, bro. Kofi, I'm going to tell you the book you need to read right here. Required reading. Thank you. Required reading for all coons. This is the only book you need.
He called me a coon. Yo, he called your boy Kofi a coon. I want to know what qualifies me as a coon. I really would like to know what qualifies me as a coon. I know he watches my sad little lonely channel. I want him to put down in the comments what makes me a coon. He's only saying this to the people who may or may not know me. Remember, guys, he doesn't care. On one of my videos before, he doesn't care about him agreeing to pedophilia on my and him admitting to it on my channel, because I have a small channel, so he doesn't care about that shit. And he deleted. He deletes videos, he deletes comments. Once you know he says something messed up, instead of being a man, a little short man, right? He wants to be a little cowardly bitch. He's gonna just delete it instead of saying, "Hey man, I misspoke. Yeah, that was kind of wild," saying, I don't believe in that stuff. And then it's water under the bridge. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But he has to tell people, I'm a coon. Okay.
Book you need right here. This book is called Soul of Africa. This book you're either going to be enlightened or you're going to conjure up some African spirits that are going to rip you limb from limb. One of the two.
If any African spirit is going to come rip me from limb to limb, it's going to be you demonizing black women. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be you demonizing black women, you being a Confederate, you being a shield for Confederate like-minded people, right? I welcome the ancestors. I welcome the Yorubas and the Orishas. I welcome the Netters, right? To judge me if I love my people or not. I welcome it. I welcome it, and I wish they would judge me harshly. And I wish they judge you harshly just as well, right? And this is a book that I think he should read, right? One of the first books that I started getting into, like black, when I started reading, I started reading black scholars. And because again, like in 2002, I asked myself, because I've always been a historian, I was like, why are black people in the situation that they are in right now? Why? Right? And I went to look towards Dr. Clark, Dr. Asa Hilliard, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Ben, and they always do a lot of name dropping on books and names, and they say, hey, read, if you're gonna do anything to understand the mind of a black person, you need to start looking and reading Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. And I don't think Brandon read The Miseducation of the Negro. If he did, that's despicable what he's doing. So he probably read it, but not implementing it, right? Exposing hidden frauds. What's up? Welcome. I see you live with the message board. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but I'm shouting you out. Yeah, but yeah, coons. Yes, he is a coon, right? It's amazing that he thinks he's on the side of righteousness, but he's on the side of making money. That's my whole thing. If you're a failure at life, you find a niche. Hey, you get excited, and you think you're on top of the world. But hey, maybe one day he's hoping to be revered and honored like an Anton Daniels and a Jesse Lee Peterson, and he's just a piece of shit. Anyway, so right here, like I was saying, Carter G. Woodson. And that's what I was saying. This is the type of book that this Negro need to read, right? So right here, you see it. This is what Brandon speaks volumes of his mental state. If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, I'll read it again. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, Like Brandon Pedo Bucci Bear, you do not have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man think he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one. That's the one thing I got Carter G. Woodson that stuck with me. That right there stuck with me. And when I hear Brandon talk, that's what comes to mind all the time. Brandon, that's a book that you need to read. Read that book. Read this passage. Let it seep in your mind to uncoon yourself, to disconnect your Willie Lynch chip, as they would say. Let's read another one. History shows that it does not matter who is in power or what revolutionary forces take over the government. Those who have not learned to do for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any rights or privileges in the end they had in the beginning. Right? So he wants to like coon and latch on under the nutsacks and the warm asshole of the Republican Party, thinking that he'll be fine and they'll just determine his life. And he seems like he's pretty much on the road to being a failure to a father, because oh my gosh, the gay is gonna come get you, and he's no real man. What can he do about it? He's just a father. I can't do nothing. I guess the gay is gonna get my daughter anyway. There's another one that I saw here that I was very good. Right here. If the Negro in the ghetto must internally be fed by the hand that pushes him into the ghetto, he will never become strong enough to get out of the ghetto. That's pretty much Brandon. Right? I think this was the one. The oppressor has always indoctrinated the weak with his interpretation of crimes of the strong. And I felt this was very possible because he's listening to white people and as well as his own experience, right? Where he's in a weak position, right? Especially in his country. And then try to twist and turn like he did here, saying, "Oh, the crimes of the weak is more significant than the crimes of the strong," right? So he needs to read Carter G. Woodson, very much so. And lastly, again, he's his political position is sad, is flawed. We all know that Donald Trump is a liar. We all know Donald Trump commits fraud. We all know Donald Trump doesn't pay his workers. We know Donald Trump did all these political stunts for black supporters, what he did there in Georgia, what he did in New York, what he did with like NFTs and all these fake black people around, like black people support him when the majority of black people don't support him. We know all that stuff happened at the Chick-fil-A was a bunch of coon ass black Republicans that already support him. We already know that already. It wasn't like grassroots people or just independent people. We know it wasn't that, right? So right here, we all know about Project 2025, right? And now you have Republicans saying that they don't want to be a part of the United States anymore. So I'm going to play it here for you.
Bad idea. We are devolving into a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. Bad idea.
MAGA Republicans are now saying
we are devolving.
See, make America great again. See all the MAGA hats, right? They no longer want to be a democracy. They do not want. These are MAGA constituents. See the fucking fool over there standing next to her? All right, MAGA hat, MAGA hat, MAGA. These are a bunch of MAGA tards. They no longer want democracy. Why do they no longer want democracy? Because Republicans are not offering you guys anything. What are Republicans offering you that makes your life better besides fear mongering? That's all they doing is fear mongering. While they're not offering anything, they're not doing anything, right? This is not a plug for Joe Biden, but I'm basing things off on politics. Joe Biden, right now what he's doing, the Science and Chips Act, right? It brings more manufacturing jobs, right? Unemployment is at a record all-time low. The stock market is doing well. He's doing the infrastructure bill, the Build Back Better bill, which also creates more jobs internally to build airports and roads and things of that nature, right? I'm just looking at what the man is doing from an American standpoint. From an African American standpoint, none of them is doing anything. But at least with Joe Biden, it's trickled down on economics, and Black people may benefit from it. So they got this, what's this, the old saying, like, hey, don't look at one person. You say, because when we raise the tide, all ships go high, and all that other bullshit. So when the America does good, everybody does good. That's just bullshit, trickle economics. Yeah, but you on a yacht and Black people's on a fucking life raft. So I don't buy into that bullshit. But again, I'm saying this to say that you have normancy and you have Civil War Confederacy 2.0, where they don't even like their own country. But I'll play it.
Evolving into a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. Bad idea.
MAGA Republicans are now saying the quiet part out loud. They're so disturbed, so authoritarian, so anti-democratic that they are literally drafting written resolutions which say that they, quote, oppose legislation which makes our nation more democratic in nature. Folks, this is terrifying. But before we unpack, this clip brought this whole situation to my attention. We're going to play the clip, and then we're going to actually look at the source article in question. But brace yourselves. This is scary.
They decided that as the Washington State Republican Party, they would this year take a stand against democracy. And I do not mean this as a metaphor. I am not performing political analysis. I am literally describing what they literally did.
We do not want to be a democracy. Originally, congressmen were elected by a direct democracy. Senators were elected by their state legislatures, and presidents are elected by the Electoral College. We are devolving into a democracy because now congressmen and senators are elected.
We are already a democracy. So what does she mean we are devolving into a democracy? Like she doesn't even know how her own country works as far as civics.
Electoral College. We are devolving into a democracy because now congressmen and senators are elected by the same pool, a direct democracy. And with the national popular vote coming, we're going to be electing our president by a direct democracy too. Bad idea.
Bad idea. We are devolving into a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. Okay. As Danny Westnate at the Seattle Times reported, delegates of the Washington State Republican Convention then stood up one by one to argue that the U.S. should repeal the 17th Amendment, which allows us to vote for our United States senators. After that resolution passed.
Why is that? Look what they're doing. Because Donald Trump wants to, in Project 2025, he wants to make it that any senator that does not follow what the president is doing could get fired. So why are there senators? That's where the checks and balance, right? The federal should not interfere. The federal should not interfere with the locals, with the state, with the local municipalities, right? As long as the federal does, as long as the local doesn't do anything to go against federal government rules and policies, the state could do whatever it wants. So that's why you have governors, congressmen, mayors, and stuff like that by state. You don't need all those people if the president could just say, I don't like what your state is doing. You need to, the president, not Congress, the president saying so, not Congress. That's insane. Saying, well, I don't want you doing that. And me as president, unilaterally, I could take away your authority as senator because I supersede the senators. That's not how it's supposed to work. It's all for Project 2025, where Trump can have 100% total control from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and everything in between.
They went bigger. They voted to put this language into their platform. Quote, we encourage Republicans to substitute the words republic and republicanism, where previously they have used the word democracy. Every time the word democracy is used favorably, it serves to promote the principles of the Democratic Party, the principles of which we ardently oppose. Quote, we oppose legislation which makes our nation more democratic in nature. We oppose legislation which makes our nation more democratic in nature. So say Washington State Republicans, officially in writing in their party platform. What's going on here?
They're authoritarians. They have authoritarian impulses. They have monarchical impulses, which we shouldn't be side of popular opinion and majority rule. So the source article in question, before we go to the next video, comes from the Seattle Times. Political forecasters called it that the state Republican convention would feature turmoil, ending, and endorsements of the most extreme MAGA candidates, all to match the party's current MAGA mood. Among the jilted was the Republican frontrunner for governor, former Sheriff Dave Reichert, who was left putting out an APB for the GOP. The party's been taken hostage, quote. But there was another strain to the proceedings last weekend that didn't get much attention. Political conventions are often colorful curiosities. This one took a darker turn. The Republican base, it turns out, is now opposed to democracy. Their words, not mine, as you'll soon see. After the candidates left, the convention's delegates got down to crafting a party platform. Like at most GOP gatherings in the Trump era, this one called for restrictions on voting. In Washington state, the delegates called for the end of all mail-in voting. Instead, we would have a one-day-only in-person election with photo ID and paper ballots, with no use of tabulating machines or digital scanners to count the ballots. All ballots would be counted by hand by Trappist.
All right, that's, you guys get the gist. This, you can see the YouTube channel. He's pretty much thorough, right? And you can check out all the articles there, and honestly, just judge for yourself as far as like what's going on, right? And this is what Brandon's not gonna tell you. He's not gonna report any of this stuff to you. That's why he keeps talking about Palestine, what's going on campuses. He's not telling you anything about the monumental things going on with his party, what they're trying to do, right? He's not telling you anything about Donald Trump's hush money case, where he was fucking porn stars and now that he stood for financial campaign fraud, because he did it as a campaign. He wrote it down as a campaign donation or as something that he was doing, which is illegal, right? If you're gonna put it down like, nah, I paid this girl off or whatever and stuff like that, right? You can't say, oh no, it's part of the campaign. It was a campaign thing, do with the campaign. No, it wasn't, right? So that's fraud, right? So he's not saying any of that. He didn't cover what's going on with Hunter Biden, right? With and what's going on with James Comer about the Bidens, they're taking money from Russia and when the FBI person where they got that docket from, that filed it, that they based all their findings on, was they proved it that he's lying, he's a Russian tool, and asset. I think it was another one from China too. All that they're using, the guy has been indicted and everything. They found proof and evidence that he lied, right? So the Hunter Biden thing is not even happening. Right, the thing with Letitia James, with the whole fraud, right? He's guilty of that, right? Because he inflated his assets when he didn't have to pay taxes, and he deflated his assets when he had to come in to pay taxes. That's what they did on the same property, right? But he's not talking about any of this stuff, right? Because why? Because he is a fucking magatard. He is for just Donald Trump no matter what, and he's poor. This guy needs to be on he needs to be on YouTube to make any kind of money. He doesn't have a career, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't, right? That's why he's fiending on YouTube, right? So if you make if you make $400,000 or more, you're in a higher tax bracket where it comes to you being rich, and you get all those tax cuts. So a po ass nigga like Brandon, keep promoting for Trump because I did better, I did that. Like you bro, you don't even make 200 grand a year. He doesn't make 100 grand a year. I doubt he makes 100 grand a year. I doubt it. I don't know, but I sincerely doubt it. Right? If you have like a couple stocks here and there, and yeah, your stocks would have did good, but overall, how many shares do you actually have? Anyway, that's like hyperbole or whatever. But the average American, right, does not make 400,000 a year. The average American does not.
The judge, hey, bro, hey, they hired.
My bad. Average. They just don't. They don't make 400 grand a year. So why you want someone that's only going to give tax cuts to people who make 400 grand a year? Like I don't understand. Anyway, guys, I said it's supposed to be a short one. It's like an hour and it'd be like almost 2 hours. I guess I'm going to cut it short. I don't know if everybody want to come in. No one wants to come in. That is cool. I already put the link in the chat already. But like I said, it was supposed to be like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am kind of deal. Just to show you, because I saw what he said, like real quick. I was like, oh, let me see what the video is, because I don't want to make an ass of myself and be on some like, oh, well, maybe he did stood up for the girl in the beginning. And here I am saying, that, oh, you probably cooned out and you probably didn't stand up for the girl. So wow, let me look at the video and make sure that he did. And he didn't. And he did a whole lot worse than I could ever imagine. So I was compelled to do this video just to show you guys again that he is a professional coon at this. He's a professional coon. I don't think Charleston White would say anything crazy like that. I don't know what Charleston White would say, because Charleston White, he's iffy. He'll say something that makes sense, and then he'll say some Uncle Ruckus shit. And you're like, what the hell? It's like, so he swings both ways. Pun not intended, no homo. But I just wanted to do this, guys. I just wanted to do this, guys, just to show you why he's not a Pan-Africanism, why he's not even pro-black. Forget about Pan-Africanism. Let's say he's like FBA. The FBA don't believe in Pan-Africanism, believe in Pan-Europeanism, Pan-Americanism, which is also Pan-Europeanism. Right? Fine. Let's that. At least some FBAs are pro-black. He's not even that. He's not even that, because he's a Pan-Republican. He's not even that. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much want to just put him on blast for that. So you can see that's why I call him Pedo Bear, because he is in the MAGA cult, and Donald Trump could do no wrong, just like all of the MAGAs. So anyway, guys, just please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm pretty much going to end it here. Went a little bit longer, more than what I wanted to. But remember, as always, I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for, set up a super chat. I don't do that. I do this for the love of conversation and the love of truth. And just remember to like is free, and to just share, and any comments. You don't have to agree with me. I'd rather you not agree with me, put it like that, and just say the reason why you don't agree with me. You know what I'm saying? We can have a conversation about it, in the chat or at a live one time. But anyway, be black, be proud, love each other, take care of each other. Black power, black love, everybody. Until next time, peace.